Okay, so here we are in Gilchrist County doing a growing season burn. And what we're trying to do is promote the growth of these longleaf that have been planted and suppress the oaks and some of this other stuff that's growing up and competing with the oaks. So what I want to do is I want to take a look at that pine tree right there. That's about 3.5 or 4 feet tall, and see how the fire affects that. You might think the fire is going to kill that small tree, but longleaf pine are adapted for this kind of environment. They're adapted for fire, and we're going to just see how much damage the fire does. I suspect it's not going to do a lot. Alright, so you can see we put some fire at the base of this tree. And we're just going to see how this does. These needles on this pine tree are really designed to protect that little terminal bud that's right up there in the top. So we're going to see how this does. You can see it's really burning up that oak tree right next to it, and that's what we want. We want to kill those oaks, but we don't want to kill the pine. So you can see some of the needles at the very bottom are burning. And now some of the needles a little bit higher up are catching. But the terminal bud, and we'll take a look at it in a minute here. The terminal bud is protected by those needles that are upturned at the top of the tree. If that survives, that tree is going to be fine. So you can see how the fire is really clearing out the blackberry and other stuff in here. You can see, okay, so this tree, some of those needles are catching. So we'll go look at the terminal buds on that one too in a minute here. But that's what this tree is adapted for this. That tree right there, that little one, that's going to love this. I'm going to back off because it's getting a little hot here, but we'll come back and check this out in a minute. Alright, so here we are about a half hour, 45 minutes after we burned around these two pine trees that we're going to go take a look at here in a minute. What we can see is we've cleared out a whole lot of the underbrush, a lot of the blackberry vines and small shrubs and such that these gopher tortoises are going to have to try to fight their way through at ground level to get anything to eat or to move around out here. So the gopher tortoises are going to love this because there's going to be a lot of new green growth coming out at ground level that they're going to be able to eat. So we took a look at this particular pine tree right out here, this 3.5 or 4 foot tall longleaf pine, and we talked about how the needles protect the terminal bud, the bud at the very tip of this plant, protect it from getting damaged by fire. And we can see that in this particular case, the fire burned around the base of it, killed a bunch of stuff, cleared off a bunch of underbrush, but it didn't even consume these needles. They're dead, they're brown, they've been killed by the heat. But see how right up here at the top these needles are upturned? They are protecting this terminal bud, that little bud right there. That bud is not damaged. All the needles around it are still green. It's not damaged by this fire. that tree is going to be just fine. That's what these trees live for. I mean, they thrive in this kind of environment. Fire kills the stuff around them, knocks back the competition, allows that tree to thrive. And we noticed earlier that this tree, we saw the lower needles on this tree being consumed. We can see right over here, all these needles are burned up right here. Well, that's okay. This terminal bud buried down in here has been protected. I can't really find that one very well. But let's move over here and look at this one. We can see the same thing. See how the needles have been consumed here? Consumed. But you see the lighter green up here? Some of these needles may have been killed, but that bud right in there, right in here, see the white and the light green? That is going to be just fine. So again, another example of how this tree is really adapted for this environment where there's frequent fire, to knock back the underbrush and allow these trees to do well. On the other hand, we got trees like this kind of pine tree. I suspect this is loblolly, a volunteer loblolly pine, that are not really fire adapted. That one had pretty low intensity fire moving around it. This one over here, no fire at all. But we can see that this kind of tree is not very well adapted to fire. That in this particular case, this tree's been pretty well hammered by the same intensity fire. We can see that up here up top, it's got some terminal buds that may have been, by luck, survived. But you can see that the needle arrangement here is certainly not organized in a way to really protect those buds. I suspect this tree is probably not going to survive. But that's okay. This is what we're trying to protect out here. This is what we're trying to promote, is the longleaf, not the loblolly.